In 2026, I will be freshly postpartum, a mom of two, but I still plan on finishing writing a book and publishing it, hopefully before the end of the year. So today, I wanted to sit down and do some planning with you guys to really strategize exactly how I'm going to accomplish this goal, because being a mom is hard, and being a mom and an author at the same time can sometimes feel impossible. So today we're going to be planning out all the writing, editing, and publishing that will be happening in 2026. So if you plan on publishing a book next year as well, make sure to stay tuned and do some planning with me. Hello everyone, my name is Mandy. I'm an author, the creator of the Book Launch Planner series, and I also have courses on book cover design and book formatting. I make weekly videos on the business of being an author, so if that sounds good to you, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification icon so you never miss a new upload. You can also join as a YouTube member to get early access to videos as well as behind the scenes content. Writing and publishing a book can feel like a huge, massive task. So what I tend to do to make it feel more manageable is I break it down into smaller tasks. This isn't anything new or groundbreaking. This is just how most people accomplish their goals. However, the way I'm going to be breaking down my tasks and really planning them all out is by using the 2026 writing planner. So this is a planner that I designed. If you want a full flip through of the planner, I actually have a video where I show you every single page. There's 3 different versions of the planner. This is the 2026 writing planner in color. There's also a black and white edition, and then there's also a version that doesn't have any writing templates in it. So if you want to just use it as a sort of generic bullet journal, you can do that as well. But I like the color version because every month is a different theme and it is colorful and has doodles in the margins. It's like a pre-filled bullet journal, basically. But if you want a full flip through of the planner, you can watch that video. Now, I'm currently writing the first draft of the second book in the Flying in Love series. The first book in the Flying in Love series is Sparks in Iceland. That book is already out and available to read. It is a friends to lovers sweet romance, and the book that I'm currently writing is going to be a billionaire sweet romance. The first book was set in Iceland. The second book is going to be set in Italy. And I should also say it's a standalone series, so there's like some slight interconnectedness of the characters, but you don't need to read the books in order. I already did some planning of when I wanted to write the first draft and then do self-edits of that first draft, because I really ideally want to have both those steps done before I go into labor. So I will be giving birth sometime in February, and at the time of filming, it's actually currently October as I film this. So I am currently in the very early stages of writing the first draft. But in a previous video that I filmed, I planned out when I was going to write the first draft and planned out when I was going to do self-edits. That way, when I leave on maternity leave, I can send the book to beta readers, and while I'm struggling with the newborn phase, beta readers can be reading my book and giving me feedback. So that planning has already been said and done. And if you want to watch that video, I will leave it linked down below. So today, we're just going to assume that I accomplished my goal of finishing self-edits and sending the book to beta readers before I go into labor. That way we can now do the next steps. Now, the lovely part about the 2026 writing planner is that it's really just kind of a goal setting thing. So in the previous video, we filled out the ideal writing week to figure out what my schedule looked like. We filled out some writing goals. We filled out some publishing goals and some progress charts. I will still be filling those out more as I get farther along. But what I really want to focus on today is the Gantt chart, which we will do later, but also just the year at a glance. And I'm just going to plan 2026 at a very high level of when I plan on accomplishing things. Okay, so we're just going to do this in real time together. So again, this is the 2026 writing planner, but this Year at a Glance is actually in all 3 planners. So whether you get the black and white version, the color version, or even the version that doesn't have the writing pages, this will be in there. What won't be in there in the regular edition that's not a writing planner is all these other templates and checklists. So you'll have to, if you want these pages, you'll have to get the writing planner edition rather than just the 2026 planner. So anyways, here's our year at a glance. So we are just going to start at the beginning of our year, which is January. So in January, hopefully I am done doing self-edits to the book, and I'm going to send the book to beta readers. So let's just write that down. Also, I'm realizing now I'm writing this in pen. I probably should be writing this in pencil. That's what I would recommend. But I'm an avid pen lover, and I like the look of pens more. But my advice to you is to write it in pencil in case you have to erase things. So, moving on, going back to using the pen. In February, I give birth. I will probably be doing nothing work related in February. In March, same thing. I will be resting and surviving. In April, I plan on mostly resting, but I also want to start sorting through feedback. I feel like just sorting through beta reader feedback is going to be a nice, simple way to slowly ease back into work. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if I start working on it in March, because just from experience last time when I was freshly postpartum with my daughter, I was in dire need of some sort of normal feeling. And I actually ended up returning to filming for YouTube a lot sooner than I thought I would, just because I wanted to feel like life was somewhat normal. So I wouldn't be surprised if everything that I write down today end up being pushed up a month, just because I want to start working on things earlier for my own sanity. But I'm giving myself a little extra time if I can. So as you can see, I've kind of sort of given myself 3 months of maternity leave, where we have February, March, and April. But also in April, it's going to be very light work. So yeah. In June, I'm going to be going into copy edits hold on. In May, again, this is why you need pencil, but I'm fine with crossing things off. After sorting through beta feedback, I'll be on draft 3, making edits to the book based on beta reader feedback. In June, we'll be doing copy edits, and this is great because I just send the book to my editor, and that's not necessarily my job. So I don't have to work necessarily in June. It's my editor who has to work. And then in July, we're going to be starting the proofreading phase. And the proofreading phase is a combination of me working versus an editor working versus other people working. It'll be the entire month of July will be the proofreading phase. And then that brings us to August, which will be the finalize phase and format. So in August, I will probably be still doing some very light proofreading. This is probably when I'll be proofreading it. I have everyone else proofread it probably in the month of July, where I work with editors, I work with other people, friends, to help proofread it. And then August is when I kind of do my final run through. And then when I do my final run through, that's when I format it. So that brings us to September, which is when the Kickstarter for the book is going to go live. This is tentative. Please let me make that very, very clear. If the Kickstarter does not go live in September, do not be surprised. If everything gets bumped back because I am overwhelmed being a mom of 2, then don't be surprised. But as of right now, my goal is to have the Kickstarter go live in September, which means after a Kickstarter goes live, I usually wait about 2 to 3 months to actually publish the book. So that means in October, in November, nothing's going to happen, and the book will actually be published in December. And I'll probably have it published in early December. I've done a December book release before for Let the Rubble Fall. I was not a huge fan of publishing a book in December, but after doing some research, apparently September and October are some of the best months to run a Kickstarter, and to me, I want to prioritize the Kickstarter over the release date of the book, because I feel like the Kickstarter is actually more exciting than the release date of the book itself, because having just done this, the Kickstarter brought in a decent amount of profit, whereas the book release was like, we already had the fun super special edition, now everyone else who just wanted the edition of the book is buying it, and it's just not as super exciting, which is fine. So, this is more just the writing side of things. This is a quick glance overview of my planning for writing. Let's talk about the other side of things, which is designing stuff like a book cover. So, I think I'm going to have my book cover designed sometime in May. I feel like while I'm writing draft 3, it'll be really fun and really motivating for me to have my illustrator be illustrating the cover. So I'm going to write that down as well. And how fun is that? Come back from maternity leave and go straight into designing a book cover. That's the little extra motivation I will need. And then tentatively, I think my plan is to release the title of the book sometime in March, maybe, we'll see. That's the earliest I would plan on releasing the title of the book, just because I don't want to release the title of the book until the Kickstarter gets 100 followers. So if you're watching this and you're interested in the book, you can currently follow the project on Kickstarter. There's a pre-launch page. My goal is to release the book title when we reach 100 followers for the project. Now that can happen anytime. My goal is to have it happen by March, because even though I'm going on maternity leave, I still really, really, really want to try to post consistently to social media, because I just find it's just in terms of the algorithm, let's give that up. For me personally, when I stop posting to social media, it's really hard for me to get back into the groove. So I kind of sort of don't want to stop in the first place. Now the cover. So obviously, if we're designing it in May, the earliest we can release the cover is in June. So I'm just going to write that down. Again, this is just a tentative date, and this is releasing the cover and probably the blurb as well. I would love to do that when the project on Kickstarter reaches 200 or 300 followers. I truthfully don't know if we'll get that high of a number of followers. My Kickstarter for Sparks in Iceland, the Kickstarter ended with 98 followers, and it started with 60 something before it launched. So these, to me, 100 followers for the title and 200 to 300 followers for the cover is a big number. But there's nothing wrong with dreaming big, and that's okay. So I think that's the other marketing stuff I'm going to put in for now. I think I'll leave the rest later for when things are a little more concrete, because right now it's I don't feel like planning a lot of really detailed things, because if I give birth and I need more than 3 months of time off, then all this is for nothing. So I'm only going to plan very lightly right now. But if you are someone who likes to plan a lot, that's where the book launch planner comes in hand. So this planner is more just for light planning, writing, goal setting. This planner is for the marketing, publishing side of things. This is the planner, obviously it's the one I used when I published the Trail 2 and Me. But in here, you can see there's a lot more going on. You can write down your genre, your subgenres, your Amazon categories, Amazon keywords, book tropes, your ideal reader profile, your comp titles, how you want to pitch your book. Honestly, this is something I could probably sit down and brainstorm again. Your book blurb, if you're someone who likes to do it on paper, there's a spot right here. Your publishing to-do list, so your to-do list for writing the book, your to-do list for designing the book, for actually launching the book. I don't want to get into all this to-do list quite yet, but you can see how this is going to be helpful for once you get into the more intense phase of planning out the publishing of your book. So hopefully when I come back from maternity leave, I'm going to order another copy of my book launch planner because again, some of this is already filled out because this is what I used for the Trail to and Me. But we have all these different checklists and another Gantt chart to keep track of everything. I actually forgot how many templates and all that were in here. Oh, this feels so overwhelming. I'm gonna be honest, you guys, this feels very overwhelming as I'm about to go on maternity leave. Hopefully this will feel less overwhelming when I come back, but this will be linked below if you want to check this out. But let's go back to our Gantt chart here and fill it out just a little bit. And I'm going to pull out a different pen just so we can have a different color for coloring things in because that makes it more fun. Okay, so the first thing, so we have our tasks column over here. So our task is to send book to beta readers. That's going to be happening in January. So as you can see, the way this works is we have our months up here and then our rows, we have 4 different boxes for each month because that's the 4 different weeks in each month. So this is just, again, a rough estimation thing. So it's going to be taking up the entire month of January. And then in February, I'm going to be giving birth, so I'm not going to write that in here. This is things I need to do work-wise. We don't need to write that down. So we're going to sort feedback. And that is going to happen in the month of April, probably closer towards the end of April. So we'll do like the last 2 weeks there. And then the next thing on the to-do list is draft 3. And this is just how I work personally because I know I typically need 3 full drafts before I have a finished book. And that, again, is going to take the entire month of May. It could possibly take longer. Again, this is all just tentative. We will see. And then I'm going to write down our other tasks like copy edits and proofreading and then finalize/format. I'm running out of space. Our proofreading, let me make sure I'm writing this in the right columns. Sort feedback, draft 3, copy edits is going to be June. And again, that's probably going to take the entire month of June. Proofreading is going to be in July. It might be helpful to use a ruler when you get to this step. That way you can go like this and kind of see where you're going. And then finalize and format is the month of August. Now, another thing I've done besides, like, I like coloring it in because it's visually nice, but you can also, like, write in numbers for the exact date. Now, because I'm at the very broad stage of planning, I don't have any exact dates. I just have vague months that I want to plan out. And then I'm going to skip down to down here because I have a feeling I'm going to write in some other tasks. So I'm going to put in the Kickstarter down here and then publish all the way down here. So these 2 things that are going to happen towards the end are just down here. So the Kickstarter is going to happen in September, which is right here. So it'll be basically the entire month of September, and then the book itself will actually be published in December, but I think it'll be the first week of December. So we're going to put that there. Again, all tentative. I just color it in so I can see it. And then we can add in the other things we talk about. Like, I'm not going to put in the things like announcing the title, announcing the cover, and announcing the blurb because those dates are still very up in the air because I want to do them based off of when the Kickstarter gets a certain amount of followers. But I will put in, because this is a task I need to do, I will put in design cover. And then when did we say we'll do that? We said we'd do that in the month of May. So that would put us right over here. And I'm just going to color in, probably do it not the first week of May, but somewhere in here. The first week of May is probably when I'll reach out to my illustrator to make sure he can still do it. But yeah, so I like doing a Gantt chart because to me this is a nice visual way to be like, do I have too much going on in one month? Because I can look down a column and be like, okay, in the month of May, I'm going to be doing 2 things. Is that too much? Personally, I don't think it will be, but we'll see because there's technically another 3rd thing on this list, which is, you know, raise a toddler and a newborn at the same time, along with everything else going on here. So we'll see what happens. But this is my very rough Gantt chart. I'll probably fill it out more as time goes on. And again, as I start accomplishing more of these goals, I will start filling out these other pages more as well. So this is just a fun way to track stuff. Okay, so that was all the planning for what I plan to accomplish so far in 2026. If you plan on writing and publishing a book in 2026 as well, let me know in the comments down below. Definitely make sure to check out these two resources, the 2026 writing planner, as well as my book launch planner. This one is going to become much more helpful once you are past the writing and editing stage and doing more of the self-publishing planning. So maybe I will do another video where I start filling this out, but that's probably going to happen after maternity leave when dates start to feel a lot more concrete, because right now everything's up in the air, so wish me luck. That is going to be it for today's video. Thank you all for watching. All the resources I mentioned will be linked below, and I'll see you all in the next video.